The call came in just after sunrise on a cold October morning in Cedar Ridge, Colorado, a quiet suburb tucked between Denver's growing skyline and the long shadow of the Rocky Mountains. It was the kind of place where neighbors waved from their driveways, kids rode bikes until dusk, and violent crime felt like something that happened somewhere else. But on that morning, something had gone terribly wrong. A jogger named Lisa Hammond had been running her usual trail through Pine Hollow Park when she noticed a car parked awkwardly near the tree line. It was a silver Honda Civic, engine off, driver's door slightly open. At first, she assumed someone had broken down. Then she saw the blood. The Cedar Ridge Police Department arrived within minutes. Patrol officers secured the area with yellow tape while curious residents gathered along the park entrance. Inside the car, slumped against the passenger seat, was 29-year-old Emily Carter. Emily was a local elementary school teacher. She had moved to Cedar Ridge 3 years earlier, known among colleagues as patient, warm, and fiercely dedicated to her students. Her friends described her as someone who brought homemade cupcakes to staff meetings and remembered every birthday. Now she was dead. Detective Aaron Delgado stood beside the vehicle, studying the scene with quiet intensity. 15 years on the force had taught him one thing: violence rarely appeared out of nowhere. It always left a trail. Emily had been shot once in the chest, at close range. There was no sign of a struggle inside the car. Her purse sat untouched on the floorboard. Her phone rested in the cup holder. Whoever had done this hadn't robbed her. This wasn't random. "Looks personal," Officer Grant muttered as crime scene technicians began photographing the vehicle. Delgado didn't answer immediately. His eyes drifted toward the wooded trail where the car had been found. "Or someone wanted it to look that way," he finally said. By mid-afternoon, detectives had begun building a timeline. Emily Carter had left her apartment around 9:15 the night before. Security footage from the parking lot showed her getting into her car alone. Her destination, according to a text she sent to a friend, was simply meeting someone, but she never said who. The first stop for investigators was Cedar Ridge Elementary. Principal Sandra Wilkes sat across from Detective Delgado in her office, her hands wrapped tightly around a mug of untouched coffee. "Emily was one of the best teachers we had," she said quietly. "The kids loved her, parents loved her." "Did she ever mention having problems with anyone?" Delgado asked. Wilkes shook her head. "No, nothing like that. Honestly, Emily kept her personal life pretty private." But one coworker remembered something. Fourth grade teacher Daniel Price leaned against a desk in the faculty lounge, speaking in a hushed voice. "She mentioned a guy once, a few weeks ago." Delgado looked up from his notebook. "What kind of guy?" Price shrugged. "He didn't say much, just that they'd started seeing each other. I remember teasing her about finally dating someone." "Did she give a name?" Price hesitated. I think it was Ryan. Ryan something." Detectives ran the name through Emily's phone records. Within an hour, they found him. Ryan Caldwell, 32 years old, local construction contractor. No major criminal history, but one detail caught their attention: a restraining order filed 2 years earlier by an ex-girlfriend. Detectives paid him a visit that evening. Ryan Caldwell answered the door of his townhouse wearing sweatpants and a Denver Broncos hoodie. He looked surprised but not alarmed when detectives introduced themselves. "I heard about Emily," he said, rubbing the back of his neck. "It's awful." "Did you were dating her?" Delgado asked. Ryan nodded slowly. "Yeah, for about a month." "Were you supposed to meet her last night?" Ryan frowned. "No, I was home all night." Delgado studied his expression carefully. "You sure about that?" Ryan gestured toward the living room. "My neighbor came over to watch the game, Chiefs versus Broncos." An alibi. But detectives had heard that before. They left the townhouse with more questions than answers. Then the case took its first strange turn. 2 days later, digital forensic analysts finished examining Emily's phone. Among the usual messages and contacts was a hidden messaging app, one that automatically deleted conversations after they were read. But fragments of data remained, enough to reconstruct part of the conversation Emily had the night she died. The messages weren't from Ryan Caldwell. They were from someone saved under a single letter, D. One message stood out. "I know what you did." Delgado read the message twice. Then he leaned back in his chair. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Detectives dug deeper into Emily's past. What they uncovered shocked everyone who thought they knew her. 3 years earlier, before moving to Colorado, Emily Carter worked in Phoenix, Arizona. During that time, she was a witness in a federal fraud investigation involving a nonprofit accused of laundering millions of dollars. The case drew the attention of the FBI, and one of the key suspects had never been convicted. His name was Daniel Hargrove. Hargrove had once served as the nonprofit's financial director before disappearing shortly after the investigation began. According to federal records, he had vanished without a trace. Until now. Because 3 months earlier, Daniel Hargrove had resurfaced in Colorado under a different name. Detective Delgado stared at the file the FBI had sent over. The alias Hargrove had been using in Cedar Ridge was painfully familiar. Ryan Caldwell. The man dating Emily wasn't Ryan Caldwell at all. It was Daniel Hargrove. The moment the truth surfaced, the entire investigation shifted. Detectives obtained a warrant and searched the townhouse. Inside, they found documents, burner phones, and thousands of dollars in cash hidden inside a toolbox in the garage. But Hargrove himself was gone. By the time police arrived, he had vanished again. The case escalated quickly. The FBI joined the manhunt, issuing a nationwide alert for Daniel Hargrove. For weeks, investigators chased leads across multiple states. Sightings came in from Nevada, Utah, and even Texas, but none panned out. Meanwhile, Emily Carter's murder remained unsolved until a small mistake changed everything. A gas station security camera outside Albuquerque, New Mexico, captured a man using a stolen credit card. The footage was grainy, but the face was unmistakable. Daniel Hargrove. Within hours, federal agents closed in on a rundown motel just off Interstate 40, room 214. FBI agents surrounded the building before dawn. "Daniel Hargrove, this is the FBI. Come out with your hands up." For a moment, nothing happened. Then the motel room door slowly opened. Hargrove stepped outside wearing jeans and a gray jacket, his hands raised in the air. The manhunt was over. But the real story emerged months later during the trial in federal court. Prosecutors laid out the timeline piece by piece. After Emily testified in the fraud investigation years earlier, Hargrove had quietly blamed her for destroying his life. When he resurfaced in Colorado under a false identity, running small construction jobs under the name Ryan Caldwell, he had no idea Emily had also moved to the same town. Their first encounter was pure coincidence. They met at a coffee shop near downtown Cedar Ridge. Emily recognized him immediately, but Hargrove didn't realize she had figured it out, at least not at first. According to prosecutors, Emily had secretly gathered evidence against him over several weeks, planning to contact federal authorities again. But before she could, Hargrove discovered the truth. The messages on her phone told the final story. "I know who you are," Emily had written. The last message from Hargrove was chillingly simple. "Then we need to talk." That meeting was supposed to happen at Pine Hollow Park. Instead, it ended in murder. After a 3-week trial, the jury deliberated for less than 4 hours. Daniel Hargrove was found guilty of first-degree murder and multiple federal fraud charges. The judge sentenced him to life in federal prison without the possibility of parole. In Cedar Ridge, the case left a scar that still lingers. Residents still pass Pine Hollow Park every day. The trees still sway in the mountain wind, and joggers still run the same paths Lisa Hammond once did. But for those who remember Emily Carter, the quiet park will never feel quite the same again. Because sometimes the most dangerous secrets aren't buried in dark alleys or criminal underworlds. Sometimes they're hiding in plain sight, behind a friendly smile, a false name, and a past that refuses to stay buried.